Hey, I'll take that.
But the
Team him over
character
with Darby Allin,
maybe, but the character Sting is just like such a big presence. It's like when he comes out, all attention's on Sting.
It is.
However you use him, he's got to be like the focal point in order to be used properly. You'd be doing him a disservice if you weren't using him that way. So that's where my big question stems. Also, more so actually, is does the demographic that they chase? Because I mean, in the end, if you're looking at the business aspects of this, does the 18 to 35-year-old crowd, do they find it a big deal to have Sting at AEW? Because they didn't grow up watching him go against Ric Flair. They didn't grow up watching him come out and take out the NWO.
Hold on a second. I'm going to take a phone call.
Sure.
What's up, D? Yeah? Do you want to come on? Okay, give me 2 seconds. I'll call you back. All right? Bye. Okay. Gotta love when it's live. We get a phone call.
See, we're a radio show that
And
we're a YouTube show that does a radio show.
And just like that, who calls but our honorary co-host, our honorary AEW correspondent, the natural Dustin Rhodes.
Oh my gosh, are we going to get Dustin Rhodes versus Sting?
I am about to give him a call right now.
I'll pay to watch that.
Let's see. All right, do that.
Ooh.
I don't have to dial, so we can pot him up.
Could we get him in a tag team? That'd be awesome. Can you imagine him and Sting in a tag team? That would be really cool. Like, I would pay to see that.
Dustin, you there?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks for calling. Good timing, man.
Well, I just saw you on Twitter.
Oh. All right, so I'm gonna hit record and bring you in. And we're on YouTube Live, by the way. So,
okay, good.
But I'm gonna bring you in anyway. We were just talking about Sting, so great timing.
Good deal.
All right, here we go. And as I mentioned, as if we were attuned mentally, which we might as well be. We're close to the same age. Joining us now on the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina hotline, our honorary co-host, our honorary AEW correspondent. He was in the ring and got the stare down from the man himself. I give you the natural Dustin Rhodes. What's up, D?
Hey, man, how are you?
I'm good, man. How cold was it in Jacksonville? JR said it was about 40 degrees last Wednesday.
Yeah, that night it was 40 degrees. The night before that was about 38.
Woo.
It was chilly.
Man.
It was a chilly one, to say the least.
Yeah, it sounds like it was. So let me get your thoughts. You were there in the ring. You came down to help your brother and Darby, and Team Taz is doing the beat down, and we hit the music, and here comes Sting. And give me your reaction when you saw him coming through the tunnel and coming over to the ring.
You know, I think the first reaction was that the entrance in itself was just really cool. They had snow blowing, and the winter is here, right? So it's like the snow was blowing, and it was really cool. And my daughter, she took this shot of Sting coming out of the tunnel, and it's a very cool shot. He's not all the way out of the tunnel yet, and you could see his little silhouette. It's a real cool shot, and he comes out of the tunnel, man, and the place is going crazy, and he steps in the ring, and at that second, I thought to myself, you know what? It's been however many years since I've been in the ring with Sting and tagged with him several times, numerous amount of times, and to see him in an AEW ring, but to see him, walk over to Arn, who did a lot for Sting, to walk over to me, there's history there, and then to walk over to my brother, who this is his first, he gets a look at Sting, and and now it's his time to have a little history with Sting. And then, of course, Darby Allin, the four of us in the ring. It was just a very special, cool moment, a cool stare down, cool looks all the way around. The world just popped, it's going crazy. Sting's here, AEW. Let's go. You know what I mean?
I couldn't agree more. I was sitting, as I was just telling Justin, I was sitting in a chair at my family cabin in Arkansas on the Washita River. Got the river flowing. It's cold there too. Watching it on TV, and I jumped out of my chair when I saw him come out. And
there's people that you mark out for, right? And like Hulk Hogan, The Rock. Sting is one of those. He's the icon, right? And he commands attention when he walks into a room, and it's pretty impressive to see him at the ripe age of 61 and still in love with the business, passionate. It's fed him well over the years, and he's here, and he's, I'm sure, going to share some of his teachings and knowledge with our young kids, which would be very, very cool for them to learn, and to see the master who has owned the wrestling world in WCW for so long.
I have to ask you, man. It's great to have you on. So thank you again for joining us. But
yeah, Justin, what's up?
I'm always just one of your aspects. Now that you're a year into this, like, how has the transition been for you? As now, you remember what it was like to be the young upstart. Now you're the cagey veteran, kind of passing on your guidance. How do you see like the wrestling world morphing over this time period, especially during the pandemic? It seems that there's been a lot of changes to the wrestling world where everybody is just kind of cool with it. But since you grew up in this business, I would imagine that sometimes it's a little bit harder to kind of, I would just imagine, I'm not saying that it is, but it might be a little bit more difficult to kind of accept some of those changes that might be going on in the business. But from your perspective.
Well, those times, right now it is what it is, and we're making the best of it. But this last year, and most of it being in the pandemic before we got, completely shut down from crowds and things, we deal with it. And we go out there and we perform 100%. Everybody is very passionate about their work, including myself, including everybody from the top office to the bottom. And we're all helping each other. It has a really cool Dallas Cowboy, Texas Longhorn team, America's team feel to it.
That's so cool.
For me personally. And I believe everybody is working for the same goal, and that is to elevate AEW, to send it off and make it the number one pro wrestling place in the world, even though we're not looking at that right now as a competition or anything. We're our own thing. And all we can do is focus on ourselves getting better and our company getting better and elevating each and every week, trying to bust that million and trying to elevate from that, and sooner or later here, hopefully sooner than later, we'll have our crowds back and we'll be selling out arenas again, and we'll be just killing it. It's been a lot of fun. Even though we've been in this pandemic, it has still been a lot of fun because we've had our roster out there cheering us on, and 20% of the crowd has come in on some of the dynamites. So it feels good when you can hear their voices, because their voices matter, and it does add an electricity to the building. You feel them, and then when they leave, it's like, well, shit, it's kind of quiet in here.
Yeah. But
you still go through the motions. You still do your thing and work hard because the audience at home expects that. And that's what we give them.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this, Dustin. With the pandemic, with everything that AEW and every other wrestling company has had to go through, do you see where the creativity have you seen creativity come out of this that we may not have seen has there not been a pandemic, or had companies not have to go through what they go through right now? The creativity level, I know there'd still be the creativity level, but there's a different kind of creativity that's being produced right now. Wouldn't you agree? And just kind of reflect on that.
I would agree. but the thing about it is we're stuck in this one building right now, so it's easy because we go there every single week to put on Dynamite, and everything's kind of in home, and it makes it a lot easier that we're all really just there, and we're traveling to one place, so we can plan a little better, we can create a little more, we know the building and the exact where everything is, and where we could do certain moves or things in the crowd or the audience, as opposed to going to a new arena and seeing, okay, well, what's available, where can we fight? It just takes a little longer to plan and put together. This is already there. We know it. It makes it easier to create with that backdrop that we have there. And, there's going to be challenges as soon as we get back on the road and, into live arenas again. But hell, I think everybody handled it at the beginning, and we're going to handle it, if not better than we did at the beginning, better. You know what I'm saying? We've only grown, and I think we're going to continue to grow. And I think right now everybody's on the same page, and just really, really their creative juices are flowing. Whether some of their creativity is good or bad or whatever, we throw a lot of shit at a wall and we hope something sticks. And a lot of times the stuff that we do throw sticks. And it's just really cool. It's a good feel. It's something different. It's an alternative to anything else out there. And you have all kinds of different styles here. You have AEW Dark and so many Florida talent that are coming in, and we get a good look at, and hopefully they start really working really hard on AEW Dark, and then you never know, they get a shot on Dynamite, and boom, you have this new talent that nobody's ever seen before. And all of a sudden, who is this guy? Well, it's so-and-so. And then the next week he's doing it again, and then the next week, and we continue on like that. We continue on with new talent that nobody's seen, and it's just really cool because we have a lot of people down there. There's a lot of wrestling talent in Florida, so it makes it a little easier for them to get there, drive, take their COVID tests, all the normal weekly things we got to go through just to get there and train and get some eyes upon you.
Yeah, and I wanted, not just Florida, though. You've got talent coming from all over. I know I've seen, 2 or 3 that come from the Texas area between Fuego del Sol, Alex Gracia, who trained with Booker T. You got you've had a couple other Texas guys and kids there. So it is a great, and especially AEW Dark has been a great showcase for a lot of that independent talent that takes the time, that takes the commitment to go down there and possibly get booked and show up on AEW.
I know that after Dynamites, man, we shoot so much content for Dark, and if we weren't in the pandemic right now, I remember when we started, how we were doing maybe 4 or 5 Darks, right? And that was it for the Dark matches. But now we have there's so many matches, and you get a lot of people. You get eyes on a lot of new folks, right? Mm-hmm. And new people that are coming in trying to make their name, and that's good for them. And you get them coming from other companies too. So there's a cross branding type situation that's going on, and it's pretty cool. It is really cool to have such a plethora of young talent, girls. Alex is great. Alex Gracia is unreal. I've been working with her close and a lot lately. Fuego too is pretty cool. He needs to fill out a little bit, but he's doing a tremendous job. So many great talented kids, man, and it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch them pull off something really cool and get some notoriety on social media and things like that, and on TV. It's very neat, and I'm happy for them. I'm proud of them.
That's true.
D-Dog, I had to ask you. You were talking about creative juices. Now, I expect AEW to kind of be outside the box and like you were talking about, throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. But do you think there was some chances that were taken during the pandemic creative-wise that you think that during normal circumstances wouldn't have been taken?
No. I mean, we have a thought, and the the bosses have a thought, and we try to make the thing work, as best we can. So far we've been doing really good, and taking things like you're saying, extra chances or chances that maybe we shouldn't do certain things. I disagree with. I think we're doing everything we should and could, and we're standing out, and that's the main thing. But we are also taking very good care of our talent, making sure everybody's well-being and their safety is our number one concern, and we're just doing what we can, man, and doing the best that we can, and I think we're shining.
I agree. I've heard a lot of people talk about all the different, the testing and the protocols and all the different safeguards that AEW is taking. You got all the trailers there that are, where, that kind of serve as, staging and dressing area and whatever in the back, and I've heard a lot about that, and it's you gotta applaud Tony and everybody there at AEW, you guys, for what you're doing to do a still put on great TV content, great TV wrestling, but do it as safely as possible. And AEW should be commended for it. I completely.
Well, we're under very strict testing rules and things, and nobody's allowed in our bubble. Once everybody's been tested, it is very strict, and the doc knows where we're at all times. If we go out of town and we come back in town, say we're there for 10 days, test us again. You know what I mean? We're constantly testing. I don't know how many freaking tests I've had, but it's like, and every once in a while somebody, will feel bad and they'll keep them home just as a precaution.
Mm-hmm.
So, things happening right now. We're just doing the best we can with what we got, but I think we're doing pretty damn good.
I would say so. It's looking good. Let me ask you about Kenny Omega as the new world champion. Everything that went down last Wednesday night with him and Jon Moxley and Don Callis from Impact Wrestling. Give me your thoughts on Kenny Omega as the new AEW world champion.
Kenny is a tremendous athlete, tremendous worker, and the cleaner's back. And, Kenny Omega has made his career off of having great matches. He stepped in the ring with Jon Moxley. Did they have a 5-star match? I considered it more of a brawl and that a fight type of match. And those matches are kind of my style and the things that I like to watch. And I thought they did a really good job. And we're going to see what Kenny Omega can do with the World Heavyweight title.
Let me ask you this. So, at the very tail end of AEW, Don Callis proclaims that he and Kenny are going to talk about what happened on Impact Wrestling, which airs, well, if you're watching us on YouTube, it airs tonight. If you're listening to us on the Horn, it aired last night. You've had a little bit of history with Impact, TNA, whatever you want to call it. Just give me your impression on having that crossover, having Kenny Omega with the AEW World title on Impact Wrestling.
I don't know what's in Kenny's mind right now, or Don Callis, and what they're actually trying to get out of this, or what. Hey, any crossover is good crossover. Any media talk is good media talk, whether somebody's bad-mouthing it or not. At least somebody's talking about it, And crossover, yeah, you got superstars over there. We have ours. We have people come from MLW. We have people come from all over the place, man. And any crossover is, as long as it benefits AEW, that's all that I'm concerned with. You know what I'm saying? And me personally, tonight I'm watching AEW Dark.
Right.
Or I just got done watching AEW Dark, so.
Yeah, I agree, but I think you're right though. Any type of crossover, cross promotion, whatever, if it benefits, hey, why not? By the way, I love the spot they did. I saw a video of Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone doing it looked like it was straight out of Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. Had the backdrop that looked like it, had the the graphic, the lower third that looked like it, promoting AEW Dynamite on TNT looked fantastic. I loved it. I loved every moment.
Wasn't that cool looking?
That was pretty sweet. As soon as I saw that, at first I saw Tony Schiavone and I'm thinking Bob Caudle. It was it transposed them because it was that same backdrop.
It had that old feel, man, which is just, when I first saw it, I was like, because I didn't know they did that, and then I first saw it and I was like, oh shit, when is this? But it was like from here, and I'm like, oh damn, that's really cool, man. That was a great idea.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Hey, I had to ask you. So you have your wrestling school going on. I know you introduced your first class not too long ago. How is that progressing? Have you had a chance to swing by and kind of give a look to the new recruits?
The recruits aren't in town yet. They should be rolling in the next couple weeks, right?
Okay.
And, the building, I've been going back and forth working pretty tirelessly on setting things up and getting everything ready. I mean, we're ready to go January 8th. And we have everybody that's signed up for this class. Everybody's paid in full, and they're ready to go, man. So I'm going to give my heart and soul into this, and hopefully we can have some good prospects turn out.
Well, I'm excited for you, and after January 8th, we'll have to set aside a day. Maybe Justin and I can come by and check it out.
Definitely, man. You need to get out there. Come see me.
Absolutely. I'll bring you a pizza.
I was going to say, what toppings do you like?
Yeah, what toppings do you like on pizza?
Here's the deal, and this might spark a debate. But here's my toppings, okay? I like double ground beef.
All right.
Okay.
Double pepperoni.
Okay.
Italian sausage.
All right.
Extra cheese, extra sauce. Thin crust.
Thin crust. Wow, I wasn't expecting a thin crust.
Actually, I prefer thin crust too.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, I cannot stand people that put pineapple on a fucking pizza. It is not right.
No.
It is wrong. I don't care. I'll argue with somebody till they're blue in the face, till I'm blue in the face. It is just stupid.
You're right.
To put pineapple on a pizza.
You're absolutely right. I couldn't agree more.
You guys probably like pineapple on your pizza.
No, I do not. And I spent 2.5 years in Hawaii. I love pineapple. I love pizza. I don't want them together.
Right.
Yeah, it's not necessarily.
It's like putting peanut butter and jelly on pizza. It just doesn't go. It doesn't go.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I'm with you there on that one. So
Justin?
No, I'm not a fan, Dustin.
Yeah. And you know what else doesn't belong on pizza is anchovies.
I'm with you on that too. I've never even thought about putting anchovies on it. I've never thought about putting pineapple.
I think I've only had the anchovies once, and that was like overseas. I don't think I've ever had anchovies in America.
All right, we are done talking with Justin for having anchovies on, or olives, or pineapple on his pizza.
I'm sorry, man. I can't be cool
Stu,
like you.
It's me and you, kid. Can I take his position, his spot?
Hey, you call me kid. That's great. Because I am 6 months older than you, 8 months older than you, I think. Although, hey,
you guys doing, man?
Sting's 62, so we're all young compared to him.
Yeah, well, I mean, age is just a number.
I saw you and your lovely wife out hunting. How did the hunting trip go?
Hunting went great. We got 4.
Nice.
We got 2 huge oryx. So my freezer's full. So you'll have to come over and have some deer meat.
You name the night. I will bring the sweet tea, and we will chow down.
Hell yes. Sounds good. That's the plan.
Yeah, I'll bring cigars. We'll just have a night of it.
We need to do that anyways.
We do. Sometime before Christmas. Let's do that. So, hey, by the way, the Cowboys. I think I saw them. They're at least keeping up with Baltimore.
I'm watching them right now.
Are they?
They're a shit show. It's embarrassing.
Hey, at least you speak
really
the truth.
is.
You're just he's just saying what we're thinking.
That's true.
Let's just throw it away. Just throw it away, or throw it to the defenders. Hell.
Just it's not good. Now you heard the breaking news from before the game. Des Bryant tested positive, so he wasn't able to play. He was at the facility warming up, and they tested him, and he tested positive. He's not playing against his former team.
You know what's bad?
What's that?
That I have not paid attention to the Cowboys because they've started. They're embarrassing right now. The season's over. It's like what? I didn't even know Dez came back.
Yeah, Dez is. He's now he's signed with Baltimore. So he was going to play tonight against Dallas, but then COVID test knocked him out. So,
what do you think of this coach,
McCarthy?
I'm just looking at him on the sideline. He's had one too many pizzas himself, I think.
Well, it's that good living. I don't know if it was that living in Lakeway or whatever. He used to have a house in Lakeway.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I don't know what to think of McCarthy. I wasn't. It didn't really ring my bell when they announced him.
I don't think he was anybody's choice to become the.
What do you
head
think of
coach.
Jerry Jones?
Well,
we're gonna have to have a whole other show.
I was gonna say that, yeah.
Whole nother show.
Because
I've kicking me off right now.
No, we could. I mean, Jerry Jones. Look, Jerry Jones is probably the best owner in the NFL, but he's the worst general manager. Well, I wouldn't say worse. What's his name with Detroit? Matt used to play for the Lions. Used to do football games on Fox.
Matt Millen?
Matt Millen, thank you.
Yeah.
He was a pretty bad GM.
Well, my thing with Jerry Jones is just I will always appreciate what he did to help win those Super Bowls of the early 90s until he got too big of an ego and thought that he was the sole reason to do it. So I wish,
What did he do?
Because
to get
that's the
those
thing.
Super Bowls.
That's part of the problem. Jimmy Johnson got all the credit, and Jerry thought he should get some credit. So,
well, he wanted a little bit more credit than just buying the team and making
threw it away.
Yeah. And having to make that such a harsh decision to fire Tom Landry, to fire a legend. He felt that was
by the
something
way,
that had to be.
Dustin, you're a Longhorn fan. You've rooted for the Longhorns. Did you know that Tom Landry played for the Longhorns?
Yes.
Okay. I'm wondering why the University of Texas doesn't make a bigger deal about that. It's been asked forever.
That's a good question. That's a really good question.
And I've talked to some of my sports radio colleagues that they wonder the same thing. If this was Texas A&M, they'd have like 5 statues of him on campus.
Was he a standout at Texas?
He was. I want to say he was all conference.
Yeah.
Played in a couple Cotton Bowls.
As a DB, right?
Right, as a defensive back. And it could be simple fact that it's defensive back, and back in the 50s and 60s, defensive backs weren't the highlights that they are now. So, but I was wondering about that. One of these days I'll have to tell you the story about how Jerry Jones tried to steal my soul.
Really?
Yes. It was a.
Well, give me a little.
Now I just got to hear it now.
Okay, fine. I'll tell you now.
It
was a post game. It was post game. Jerry doing his usual scrum with the media post game outside the locker room, and I'm in the scrum. Got the recorder going, listening to whatever he's spouting out. And eventually, bunch of the other sports media head into the locker room. It eventually goes down. It boils down to Jerry Jones. I'm standing right in front of him. Shireen Williams, who used to write for the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, one of the best football writers in the business, she's standing right next to me, and there may have been a couple others. Shireen would ask Jerry a question. Jerry would look at me to answer. Looked at me eye to eye, and so I kept thinking he was trying to steal my soul. So. We've exchanged pleasantries.
He was uncomfortable looking at her?
I don't know. Maybe. And Shireen's not. Shireen's a nice lady. She's, not to mention, again, a fantastic reporter. She's one of my favorites. She's a Hall of Famer.
Just being overly protective and careful.
Maybe that's it. Or maybe Shireen pissed him off sometime. Shireen's been doing this a while, so who knows?
Yeah.
But
could be.
Maybe he was trying to figure out who you were. Like, who's
that
this
could
guy?
be it too. That
I
could
don't
be,
know, but
He
this
was just
guy-
wanting you to ask a question.
That's maybe that's what it was. But I was letting Shireen have it because she's the Hall of Famer. So I was
You
deferring
know
to her.
what? Sometimes you got to be selfish.
That's true.
You
That's
got
true.
to start being selfish a little bit and step in front of her.
Well,
ask the question.
If I get back to doing Cowboys games again next season, I'll remember that. So,
Hell yes.
he is the natural Dustin Rhodes. Justin, did you have something else you wanted to say? You look like you have something.
He's sleeping. He's
No,
bored.
no, I didn't want to end on a down note, but I just had to ask you because you probably worked with him at least at one point since you're there. I mean, because Pat Patterson had passed away. I just wanted to know if you had any.
Give me your thoughts on Pat Patterson.
If you had
Yeah, that sucks, man. I mean, the first ever Intercontinental Champion. I dealt with Pat a lot in my younger Gold Dust years, and he's always a gentleman. He was very nice to my daughter, Dakota, very good to her, and pretty much good to me. I've never really had a bad thing to say about Pat, and I've always got along with him. And he's always given me great advice, character advice, and just kind of worldly advice also. So, I mean, Pat was always very good to me, and it sucks that, one of our own has to leave this earth again, because it seems like it happens so much in our family of families. And it's, I mean, I'm sure this happens in the entertainment world and people that are close to him, that happens a lot or whatever. But for us, Pat Patterson was a good man and did some great things in the business. Unbelievable that he's gone. But I'm sure he's in a better place, and probably sitting up there with Pops right now, smoking a cigar, talking about whatever.
They're probably giving Gene Okerlund a hard time for something.
Can you imagine a crew up there right now?
Oh, man.
They ran a heavenly show. God.
You got both the Road Warriors up there, so they're probably finding a way to book a tag team match with the Road Warriors.
They're selling out the pearly gates.
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely, man. You would have the Fink and the Brain, and they would all be working ringside.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh,
I have to ask,
unreal.
with better karaoke, your dad or Pat Patterson?
Pat Patterson.
Easily.
There you go. Absolutely.
Pat Patterson was his karaoke was pretty tight, and I've heard Dad sing, on stage and things like that. Dad had a terrible voice, but he didn't care. He just got up there and had fun with them.
That's right.
Usually it was singing with Willie or Johnny Paycheck or one of the old timers like that, and it was just cool.
Him and David Allen Coe, because David Allen Coe used to do.
Coe, yes.
He used to do all those old Great American Bash tours back in the Jim Crockett days.
Hey, was he the one that was
stuff.
doing the tours when they were doing the War Games?
Yeah.
Was it Alan Cole at that time?
I think so, right?
Great American Bash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great American Bash, he was always there doing the
Okay.
stadiums outdoor, singing and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, all right, Dustin, we will let you get back to your evening. And, man, thank you so much for calling me.
Thank you, buddy.
You're welcome anytime.
I saw you on there. Saw you were live. I just wanted to call in and say hey.
Well, I appreciate it, man. All the best to you. All the best to your lovely wife and everybody else. And, yes, let's get together and do some chowing down on that deer meat.
You got it, pal.
All right.
Y'all be good.
Be good. Love you, pal. Bye.
Love you too. Bye.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, he made me cry with that story of Pat Patterson.
I know.
I mean,
I know.
I never even met Pat Patterson, but you have to give credit to where credit is due. The WWE for all the faults there. Production tribute packages that one hit hard.
They do.
I saw that before I got here, so I was already a little emotional. Then that story just to go along with it, I was just like, oh man. He just seems like a really good person.
I was lucky. I met him once at Colorful Alley Club in 2018. It was a very, very brief encounter, but he was gracious. He was classy. So
like he had that presence, right? He just be like that person.
Oh, absolutely, and especially in a environment like that where there's legends all over the place, to have him there, it was really neat. So, and thanks to Dustin Rhodes, the natural. I mean, that's what happened. That's the beauty of it. We are so lucky to be able to call him not only a co-host but a friend And
to get his insight, just
Yeah.
to know, like, hey, to firsthand insight from what it is to be on the inside of the business from his very unique perspective, considering that, you know, he still in ring performs on
Yes.
on a national level with this whole brand new
It's-
brand, but also working through this pandemic and some of those challenges
and
with
doing
going
a
with
lot
it.
of the behind the scenes stuff with AEW.
Yeah,
So,
and helping prep the next generation while they're
There you
at
go.
it. So it's so interesting because it's like, man, he's like the wise sage at this point in his career.
I'll have to see if Dustin can do some deer chili because I love me some deer chili. So
Is that your thing?
I love deer
I
chili.
didn't realize that was your gimmick.
My younger brother makes a really good deer chili.
I just never thought about deer chili.
Yeah, I mean it's chili, but it's deer meat instead
Yeah,
of ground beef.
I mean, it doesn't sound bad. It's just
It's
never.
really good.
I'm not like much of a chili person.
It's really good.